terrific. It's very good. It's about Civil War reenactments and about the Confederate flag still flying in South Carolina. So, and of course, award-winning books are generally safe picks because they're well written. You'll find something to talk about. And classics. If a book has lasted for a long, long time, you're okay. I'm sorry to take so long on that, but I think it's helpful to get some,
Yeah, and speaking of that, we'll go, get you in a second, Trish. I want everybody, after Trish gives you this comment, all of our panelists, give me the one book that you think was the best discussion. It could be, that either it was controversial or whatever. I'd like everybody to hear what we thought were really great for our club, but say what you're going to say.
Another book that makes for really good discussions is Unreliable Narrators. One of the really good discussions that we had was with a book called The Gathering by, I believe her name is Anne Enright. And the discussion was so great because you don't know what's real and what's not. Like if you chose the Lace Reader, in the Lace Reader, she opens up the book by saying, "Don't believe anything I say, I'm a liar, and I'm crazy." And so you go into it, but she seems completely sane as you're reading it. And so those kind of things make for a really great discussion. And what's great about the discussion is that there's no right and wrong. It's just opinion. And, I had a really great discussion with one of my book club members because we disagreed on this, in The Gathering about what had happened to this woman because she was unreliable. And so because it could just be your opinion about what happened in the book, it really creates a depthness in your discussion.
Okay, so I would say the book that probably was my favorite discussion that we really, really got into, and we actually split it over 2 meetings because we had so much to talk about, The Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver.
oh yeah.
Fabulous, fabulous book. We did a whole history of the Zaire, Congo region and what was going on in the background of the book, plus the characters. For those not familiar, it follows the lives of a mother and her 4 daughters over a 40-year period, and they are from southern U.S., I can't remember where, and they go with the husband as missionaries to Africa, and there's this huge cultural clash and just drama, but it spans 40 years, so you're seeing the changes throughout these characters and throughout the region that they're living in. Fabulous book.
I think the one that sparked the best discussion, and ironically I think everybody pretty much really liked the book, was Stones from the River by Ursula Heggie, about a dwarf in, I believe she was in Germany, during the Nazi War, and it's a very touching story, and there was really a lot going on in the story that was worth discussion. And it's funny that even though that didn't, usually the books that people either love or hate, and I totally agree, if somebody hates the book, I'm like, oh, you have to come and tell us what you didn't like. But it was one of those books that even though everybody liked it, it was a good discussion.
I need help.
Three Rivers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's the author, do you know? It's okay if you don't know, it's okay. Greenwood, okay. Alright,
Can you tell us a little bit about that discussion?
That's why I need help.
yes, that's why I needed help.
Is it 2 rivers?
Oh, look, it's in the book. See, there you go. There you go. It's in the book that we gave you for Barbara. Thank you. Very good. So you guys can all read about that. All right. That's all right. All right. Well, that's good. So then,
All right, we know how to talk, right? We just jabber and jabber. I'm going to say more than one. House of Sand and Fog. I really do. I mean, I know it's not a current book, but it's just terrific. The Namesake, Lahiri, was, just wonderful. And you know what? It's one of those two both produced movies that were almost every bit as good as the books. Who knew? Right now, I'm anticipating that a favorite is going to be the new Malcolm Gladwell's The Outliers. Our group reads from all genres. We mix it up, and then the best thing that we can say is, I never would have read that great book, because we surprise each other. But The Outliers is about how people become successful. It's an easy, quick read, and it changed my way of thinking. And I think it's going to be, try reading it when it's off reserves.
Yes. And it's,
I was going to mention The Namesake by Library, because that's such a wonderful book. Another one that we're doing that I think is wonderful, a new author for me, is called The Other Side of You by Sally Vickers. And I'm going to read all of her stuff because I think it's terrific.
we have a ton of things to cover, so I'm going to kind of speed through some things. I want to talk about getting authors involved with your book club. Have any of you either had an author visit or done a phone chat or anything? Have we done that? Okay. Hey, Kelly. Yeah, hello. Hi. Kelly, I was introducing her before, but she wasn't here. She's the author of Standing Still, and she's the one who's going to give away her set of books to one lucky book club. It'd be fabulous. But there are a lot of ways to interact with authors, especially now that a lot of authors have blogs and they're checking emails, and there's just a lot of opportunity there. My book club had a local author come and meet with us and discuss his book, which was this sort of like a Dan Brown type novel, so it was very controversial in our group, and we had a great discussion about it. Not everyone loved it, but it was a really, really good discussion. He gave us some insight into that. We've also done phone chats with authors where we put them on speakerphone and had conversations. A lot of authors now are on Skype, which if you're not familiar, it's a way to do a video chat. So you set up the computer, and as long as you've got the software downloaded, they can speak to you, you can speak to them. It's a lot of fun. There's tons of ways to contact authors, and I will make a suggestion. There's an author's tent right over down there. There's authors that are local that are in there all day. One is a friend of mine, Erica Roebuck. She wrote a historical fiction novel set on the Caribbean island of Nevis. Fabulous book, and she visits book clubs in the area. It's a dual story about 200-year-ago plot and a current plot going at the same time. Very good. Go over and tell her I said hello. But she visits book clubs locally, and the festival is a great place to interact with authors and get their opinions on things. Even if the author can't do a visit by phone or whatever, they'll most likely do an interview with you by email. Here's my question. Please give me some input on that. I had the chance to interview by phone Annie Barrows, who was the co-author of the Guernsey Literary and Kate Appeal High Society, which crazy title but fabulous book. Gave me a lot of insight into the history of her aunt, who had done most of the writing. It's very good. And that is a way to really rejuvenate your book club and get a completely different type of meeting going on. Do you guys have any comments on ways to contact authors?
Well, I just want to say that you don't have, one of the things, my book club doesn't contact authors, and it disappoints me because actually, you all don't have to love the book to contact the author, and you don't even have to say your book sucked. But when I talk to,
don't want to do that.
yeah. But when I talk to authors when I didn't even like their book, when I said, but I don't understand why you did this, I have to say that I might not even like the book any more than when I left, but I certainly appreciate it more and I understand it a lot more. And so, you know, while my book club might not be willing to do it, yours might be willing to do it, and you can present it in a way that we all don't have to see if we love it first. We can go ahead and set it up, and you know, we'll have a better understanding of it, if nothing else.
Yeah, and along that, like I said, the book that we did with the local author was very controversial. So we ended up each listing 3 things that we appreciated and 3 things that we were not so thrilled with, even if it was just a character. Yes.
We had a pajama party, and we invited local author, and she came, and she didn't even discuss her book, which was good, because it's a book of poetry.
Okay.
And we had a really good time just trying to get some feel, because it was right around, you know, Black History Month, and we all chose different books. So the fact that she came and she really didn't discuss her book, we could still relate, we could still talk about everything, had so much involved. So I thought that's a good idea.
Yes, definitely. That's a great way
Like the author.
to jazz up something, and to just bring a different feel into your club. Anybody else want to say anything about contacting authors or suggestions and all